Hi guys, I'm going to do Chapter 2 of The Magic and the Mummy. Chapter 2, Fate of the Pharaoh. Neria's father was dressed in his finest robes today. He marched down the middle of the road, and everyone scurried to get out of his way. It was as if he was too bright to look at, as bright as the eye of Horus. Even the dogs tucked in their tails and ran. Neria walked a little way behind him. Suddenly, a woman ran out from a dark doorway. She threw her hands up to the sky and shrieked. Then she bent down to the ground, grabbed a fistful of dust, and let it trickle over her gray-black hair. Neria's father nodded. So it has started. We must hurry. He strode out, and the girl trotted to his side. What has started, father? The woman must have heard some news. Last night the Pharaoh was sick. This morning he must be dead. He marched on. We have work to do. They headed east toward the rising sun, passing through the poorer streets of the crumbling houses, and then through the city gates. Guards raised their spears to salute them. Neria copied her father. She raised her chin and ignored them. Looks kind of snobby. This gate led into the desert, and ahead of them stood the house of death. It was not a house at all, but a fine white tent that had no walls. All the smells could be blown away on the desert breeze. Perfumes of cedar and rose took away the smell of death, but still the jackals on the hills caught the scent. They watched and waited. Inside the house of death, dozens of men and women hurried about their tasks. When Neria's father came near, they stopped and bowed. There were 20 tables under the rippling white roof. Each one had a body on it. The priest walked up to a man in a black robe and asked, "Has it started, Theckel?" Theckel was a large man with a small, round head. It was shaved, and his ears stuck out like handles on a water jug. He smiled happily. "It has started, Lord. The old Pharaoh became a god last night at moonrise. They're dumping his body here later today." Neria's father pulled a face as if cheerful Theckel's words hurt. He turned and said, "This is my daughter Neria. She will deal with Bastet." Neria was puzzled. She knew that Bastet was the cat god who looked after their corn. Theckel nodded and grinned his simple grin. We need all the hands we can get." "Teach her what to do," her father ordered. "Leave it to me. Let's start with the brain pulling, shall we?" he asked. Neria looks a little worried there. Before Neria could answer, her father said, "No, wait! If the Pharaoh's body is arriving this afternoon, we need to get Nesumantu out of the way. Let's do it now." Theckel winked at Neria. "Won't be long, mistress. I'll have him gutted in no time." He clapped his hands, and the priest gathered round. "Right, my lords. We need to get Nesumantu ripped open. Let's make it snappy, as the crocodile said to the fish." The priest shuffled around one table where the body of an old withered man lay. They began to chant a prayer, and their voices filled the tent. They looked to the east, where light from the eye of Horus was pouring into the tent. Neria shuddered when she saw the great god Anubis walk out of the sun and toward the body. He had the body of a man, but the big-eared, sharp-nosed head of a monstrous jackal. Neria had expected to see the dead here, but this was a shock. This was Anubis, the god of the dead himself. There he is. Oops, there he is. And that's the end of chapter 2. It's a little bit scary, a little bit interesting.